I feel like, Boots, a whole motion is built off of Terence Crawford. He should thank me, to be honest. I feel like he's a hater.
Okay.
If I'm gonna be a 1,000%.
This is the Real Report Show. It's all good. That's what we do. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
I think he's a hater.
Well, Terence Crawford speaks on Jaron Boots Ennis, says that Boots and his team keep using his name, trying to build up Boots' career, and says Jaron Ennis is a big old hate.
One comment was enough to change the entire conversation surrounding boxing. Instead of discussing fights and achievements, fans suddenly focused on emotions and personal rivalry after Terence Crawford spoke about Jaron Boots Ennis. His words sounded deliberate rather than casual, immediately dividing opinions across the boxing world. While some believe Crawford was simply being honest, others felt there was a hidden message behind his remarks. The reaction quickly grew because it made fans wonder whether Crawford had noticed something about Ennis that everyone else had missed.
The fight that everybody want to see.
Yeah.
I want to do it.
Do you respect him as like when he's like, I got a couple fights left, I'm at the end, I'm only trying to get mega fights, so.
I understand it, but don't lie or cap to the net and make it seem like I had the opportunity to fight you and I didn't. I never did. You know what I'm saying? And then that one time that I did, we said they called. And we said, we never heard nothing else back about it. So
right.
I mean, I respect it though. I mean, get your money. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing. But don't be capping on the net.
In boxing, some of the biggest moments happen outside the ring. A single statement can create more headlines than an entire championship bout. And that's exactly what happened after Crawford addressed Ennis publicly. What seemed like a normal interview soon became one of the sport's hottest talking points. Fans, analysts, and former fighters began examining every word, trying to understand the meaning behind Crawford's comments and whether they revealed something deeper.
Who they are cancel out each other as far as height. They both switch hitters, lift, and everything. All of that cancels out each other. So they are literally the same people, pretty much. The only difference is Crawford done been in a big stage against big fighters so many times. And also, with age, he didn't beat up his body, so his age is actually good. He got the grown man strength. He not just grown man strength, but he built on top of that. Like, look at him at 135. He was a little scrawny dude. He wasn't a big dude. Now look at him. He ripped up everything. He's strong. So
sure.
I feel like he got everything, all the experience, all the knowledge. So I got it.
The situation surprised many because most fans expected nothing but respect between two of boxing's most talented fighters. Instead, Crawford questioned more than Ennis' abilities. He suggested that Boots and his team had gained attention by constantly linking themselves to his name. When Crawford referred to Ennis as a little hater, the discussion instantly became more personal. What had once been a friendly comparison between two elite fighters suddenly turned into a rivalry filled with tension.
The Terence Crawford fight. I'm tired of answering questions about it. He already said millions of times that he not fighting me or looking my way, so I'm just tired of answering them questions, and if a fight happened, it happened. I wanted it to happen, but if not,
I mean, right now, with somebody like Crawford and Spence, they're not interested, and I don't think you could really knock them. And some people say, well, how you gonna say that about Canelo but not Crawford? It's a difference, bro. Terence Crawford fought the best dude in the division. Did he not?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
You can fight number one, then you can go fight a B-level guy, C-level guy. You should not fight top fighters every single.
It didn't take long for the boxing community to split into opposing sides. Some supported Crawford, believing he simply voiced an opinion that others had been afraid to express. They argued that Ennis had received extra attention because of constant comparisons to Crawford. Others disagreed completely, wondering why an accomplished champion would appear concerned about a younger fighter still building his career. To those fans, Crawford's remarks sounded less like confidence and more like frustration, making the debate even more intense.
Terence Crawford is not a happy guy in retirement. Terence Crawford is very bitter and bored, and I would even frankly say jealous of Jaron Ennis in retirement, because how can you have accomplished as much as Terence Crawford and be just so unhappy, about insecure with your career? Because he was on Twitter yesterday, And he tweeted out all of his accomplishments. So let me read them to you, so we all know the caliber of fighter we're talking about here when we speak about Bud. He tweeted the following, and I quote, 42-0, the former #1 best fighter in the world pound for pound, 5-division world champion, 3-time undisputed, 4-time unified champion, 2-time fighter of the year, 3-time ESPN fighter of the year, 20 consecutive world title fights, and a Hall of Famer soon to be. Sorry, but not sorry for being great.
The biggest question isn't about who is right or wrong. It's about why the relationship between Terence Crawford and Jaron Boots Ennis suddenly feels so personal, even though they've never shared the ring. To understand that, you have to look at how the comparisons first began. As Ennis emerged as one of boxing's brightest young stars, fans naturally started measuring him against the sport's elite. His athleticism, switch-hitting ability, and confidence reminded many people of Crawford. With every impressive victory, the same debate returned. Could Boots eventually defeat Crawford? Over time, that discussion became one of boxing's most talked-about storylines.
I said, man, of course, everybody knows the competitive nature in myself, but I don't worry about coming back to prove anything, because me coming back and proving something to people that it doesn't matter, but never matters. For that being, they would say, oh, well, he only fought Xander, or they'll come up with some type of excuse. But to credit Boots, like, he's a tremendous talent and he's no walk in the park.
For a long time, Crawford stayed quiet and focused on his own career. He chased undisputed championships, defeated elite opponents like Errol Spence Jr., and pursued bigger opportunities in higher weight classes while allowing fans to continue the comparisons. That made his appearance on The Real Report even more surprising. Instead of avoiding the topic, Crawford addressed it directly, saying the constant comparisons actually helped raise Ennis' profile. He explained that every rising star is measured against established champions, just as he was once compared to Floyd Mayweather. But everything changed when he smiled and referred to Ennis as a little hater. From that moment, the conversation shifted from boxing skills to personal feelings, leaving fans wondering if the rivalry had become something much deeper.
My pound-for-pound king, the former 5-division world champion, 3-division undisputed champion, the greatest fighter of his generation and his era, undefeated, first ballot Hall of Famer, Terence "Bud" Crawford, 42 wins, no loss, no draw, 31 wins by way of knockout. Terence Crawford was called on FaceTime yesterday, as I did a video about it this morning, and he was asked about the fight and the situation between himself and Jaron Boots Ennis, right? And Terence Crawford responded as he's supposed to. I would have knocked Jaron Boots Ennis out. I would have ended his...
What fueled the controversy even more was that Crawford never explained exactly why he felt that way. He didn't mention a specific interview or incident involving Ennis. Instead, he hinted that he notices subtle details such as body language and behavior that many people overlook. That comment sparked endless speculation across the boxing community. Supporters argued that experienced champions often recognize things others miss after years of studying opponents. Critics responded by pointing out that Ennis has consistently spoken respectfully about Crawford and has called for a fight as a way to prove himself rather than insult a fellow champion. The disagreement quickly became one of the biggest talking points in boxing. At the same time, many believe Crawford's legacy also plays a role, as every rising star is now measured against the accomplishments he has already achieved.
That Jaron Ennis is a hater, and he went as far as to say that Jaron Ennis, he built his whole motion and his whole clout off of the Terence Crawford name. And this also comes after the fact that the day right after Jaron Ennis beat Xander Zayas in his finest hour, Terence Crawford did an interview and pretty much said that if he ever fought Boots, he'd be 10 steps ahead of him and things like that. But at the same time, Terence Crawford's the same guy that will criticize people like myself or people in the media and say that the media never gives credit when he got more than his...
Almost every dominant performance by Ennis has brought back the same question. Could he beat Terence Crawford? After hearing that comparison for years, it's understandable why emotions may eventually become involved. Some fans sympathize with Crawford, believing the constant comparisons can become frustrating. Others argue that both fighters have benefited from the rivalry because it has kept them connected in public discussion, even without sharing the ring. Social media only intensified the debate, with one side defending Crawford's right to express his opinion while the other insisted that Ennis' ambition should never be mistaken for disrespect. Because Crawford has earned enormous credibility throughout his career, his comments carried extra weight and reignited one of boxing's biggest hypothetical matchups.
Beat Bud.
Okay.
So I don't think Boots could beat Bud. Nah.
Okay, now, is that a case where he's
Boots
not
could hurt him though?
He's not experienced enough?
Boots got some bullets. So it's like, you know, Bud ain't scared of a fight. So he
Hell
can't hurt
no.
him. True.
The thing about Bud, I think about, like Bud just put out a message on Instagram. He gave Boots his credit. I don't know what platform was on, but he's like, yo, he's a threat for anybody in the ring.
Yeah,
he said the only difference for me, I'm 10 steps ahead of him.
The reality is that only Terence Crawford truly knows what he meant by his comments. He may genuinely believe Jaron boots. Ennis carries a certain attitude, or perhaps his words were taken more seriously than he intended. Another possibility is that the remark was meant to spark conversation around a rivalry fans have discussed for years. Whatever the intention, the impact was undeniable. Boxing fans immediately began debating a fight that has never happened and may never happen. As Crawford continues chasing bigger opportunities and Ennis focuses on building his own legacy, the chances of them meeting in the ring become smaller. Yet the debate refuses to fade because fans still wonder whether Crawford's experience would overcome Ennis' athleticism or if the younger star would rise to the occasion.
It's not clowns, it's competition. That's what this generation of fighters don't understand. It's competition. You are in a competitive sport, and people gonna want to see the best fight the best, regardless. So this is barbershop. This is how you get promoted. This is how you get recognized. These are the people that support you. The barbershop conversation. This is how it starts, right? And so people wanted to see that fight. And there's a disconnect where Jaron Ennis feels like Terence Crawford avoided him. As I told you guys, my part of it, Terence Crawford feels like Jaron Ennis.
This situation also says a lot about boxing itself. The sport has always been driven by comparisons between generations and constant debates over greatness. Fans enjoy predicting who will become the next superstar, and those discussions naturally create excitement as well as controversy. Crawford's comments reminded everyone that fighters hear those comparisons too. They read the headlines, listen to opinions, and feel the pressure that comes with protecting their reputation. Whether Crawford truly believes Ennis is a hater or simply interpreted things differently remains unknown. But one short statement was enough to bring one of boxing's biggest hypothetical matchups back into the spotlight and capture the attention of the entire sport.
So maybe that's what it is, like his IQ is just different. Like, because Bud does so many things that are subtle that the average person don't notice in a ring.
Even if an experienced person can't notice.
Yeah, it's just, and it's effective. Like he does what he said he's gonna do eventually in that fight. Either way, look, I know it's a fantasy fight, but I think I give credit to Boots for being that good that they gotta talk about a guy like Bud against him to think of him losing because he's that good. Like, so that's
so what if you moving up and then eventually you at 154, you and Boots?
I mean, shit, it's a fight that
Even after the interview ended, the discussion continued across the boxing world. Fans remained split over whether Crawford was exposing something genuine about Ennis or simply revealing his own frustrations. Unless the two fighters eventually meet inside the ring, that question may never receive a clear answer. What this situation does prove is that elite athletes care deeply about respect and legacy, not just victories and championships. It's possible Crawford noticed something the public never saw, and it's equally possible that Ennis never intended to send the message Crawford believed he was receiving. That uncertainty has kept the story alive and reminded fans how quickly a single interview can dominate boxing headlines.
The fight that I would have wanted to see, but unfortunately now, it may not happen. But I'm still keeping my hopes up. It's between Jaron Ennis Boots and Terence Bud Crawford. These two of them, both of them are switch hitters. Both of them can equally fight well, southpaw and orthodox. Both of them very skillful and they have high ring IQ. Both of them are quite good. Very good, if I may say. But now, honestly, let's come down to the polls. Between Terence Crawford and Jaron Ennis Boots, who do you...
Despite all the controversy, both Terence Crawford and Jaron Boots Ennis remain among the biggest names in boxing today. For Ennis, the challenge is simple. Continue winning until he creates a legacy that future champions are measured against. Every all-time great eventually reaches that point, where comparisons stop and they become the standard. In many ways, that supports Crawford's overall message. The greatest fighters are remembered not only for their accomplishments, but for becoming the benchmark that others chase. Judging by the reaction to this debate, Crawford still holds that position, while Ennis continues working to prove that one day he can stand alongside boxing's very best.